ready with the introduction?
The introduction.
Shion.
Hello and welcome to the Ghosty Girls podcast.
Are we doing the accent today because I am here for it?
Yeah, correct.
Very, very good.
We sound like we're from Transylvania.
Excellent.
That sounded like Mr. Smithers from The Simpsons. Isn't that the boss, Mr. Smithers?
Excellent. Smithers is his Mr. Burns.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Burns. My apologies.
Come on, man. Smithers is his boyfriend.
So what do we have going on today?
Some alien friends.
Oh, man. I will say that, like, ghost stuff doesn't really scare me, but alien stuff does.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. They're out there farting around and like,
yeah.
It's just, you don't know what they're doing. I never know what they're doing.
Never know what they're doing down there.
Yeah, aliens just scare me. Like, you don't know what kind of powers they have. Like, I don't know, man. They have those weird ass eyes and the big ass heads.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's crazy. So what do you think? Do you think they're real?
I definitely think there is some kind of extraterrestrial life. I don't know if they look the way that like Hollywood portrays them to, but also there's a lot of witnesses that have described like pretty much the same type of being. So why are all these people seeing this being? You know, there's got to be some kind of truth to it, I would think.
I feel the same way.
I've always been of the mindset that it's very ignorant as a human race to think that we are the only intelligent life anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% spot on.
So those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, I'm going to get right into it. So this story takes place at the Ariel school at 10 a.m. on Friday, September 16th, 1994 in Ruwa, I think is how you pronounce it, R-U-W-A, Zimbabwe.
Okay.
The teachers were inside reviewing their lesson plans and holding a staff meeting while the students were outside on recess. To me, this sounds weird because there were no adults outside with these kids.
That's why my face was like, and also this was during the day?
This was during the day. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So, yeah, the teachers were inside reviewing their lesson plans and holding a staff meeting while the students were outside on recess. So they just let their little asses go out there and play. Bye.
But you know what? This also was the 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
And we all know how the 90s were.
We lived them. Yeah. We were there for it.
There wasn't much supervision.
It's true. So it seemed like a normal day for the 62 kids that were running around enjoying the beautiful day. And then several of the children stopped in their tracks as they were distracted by a strange sound coming from the sky. One of the girls said it sounded like a flute or a recorder. I just think of like the Oompa Loompa, beginning of the Oompa Loompa song.
Yeah.
Other students reported hearing kind of a buzz of electric or a very large bee swarm.
See, that's what, not to cut you off, but a lot of people describe UFO encounters like as having like a buzzing type noise or like a mechanical type.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So these students, I guess, are back up.
No, I know what you mean. They can I mean, it makes it more kind of, I don't want to say legit, but you know, other people have encountered the same thing, experienced the same thing.
Boom, that's it.
Other people have experienced the same thing, so that kind of brings some validity to it. Yes, correct.
Boom, words. Following the sound, many of the children then saw a silver object glide through the sky towards the school, landing in a nearby field under a couple of trees.
It landed? They saw it land?
They saw it land.
Oh, that's horrifying.
I know. Upon seeing the silver object land, many of the kids started running towards it to see what it was.
Oh, no. I don't like that.
Oh, this isn't a scary story. Don't worry. It's not.
I know, but I don't like that.
I know.
I don't like kids running towards a fucking
They're like,
UFO.
Take me with you.
Also, where are the teachers? Like
inside doing their lesson plans.
Yeah.
It's just a reflection of the sun on the windows of someone's house, said one student. Her face quickly turned to confusion upon remembering there were no actual houses in that direction. The children ran as fast as they could towards what they described as a silver disc when many of them witnessed two figures emerge.
What?
Yeah.
This is on a school day in the middle of the fucking day, and these kids are just looking at aliens coming out of a spaceship.
There's 62 kids out here.
Oh my God.
Mind you.
I have anxiety. I told alien stories fucking bother me.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's very interesting, but oh my God, that's anxiety inducing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just a little bit. According to witness reports, both were dressed in all black, appeared shorter in stature. Reports are guessing around 4 foot tall, and they moved as if they were glitching.
Ew, I don't like that either. Come on.
This is your nightmare. I'm sorry.
It really is. Like, oh my God, I'm getting the visual in my head and I don't like it.
Okay, just earmuffs because I explained it a little bit further.
Oh, great.
So one of the figures tried to run, but each step looked as if he was bouncing on a low gravity trampoline.
What?
So I say he.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was a man or a woman.
So they didn't crash. They landed.
They landed.
What if maybe they ran out of gas?
Maybe. No, so as of right now, they landed. 2 figures got out. They were short, wearing all black, and when they tried to move, it was like they were bouncing on a low gravity trampoline. Like almost as if like what you would expect a astronaut looks like when he's walking on the moon.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
So during the run, the figure would glitch and end up back where it started.
What? Mm-hmm. I don't like this at all.
So it would take a couple of steps and kind of glitch out and start like go back to the ship kind of and just start and try it again until it got, I guess it had to get the feel of the environment, like how to move in it. I don't really know. I mean, clearly I don't know. This is a story that
Oh my God.
There are reports on that I've read, but yeah.
That's horrifying.
After a few tries, the figure appeared to glitch forward, almost in front of the children that were watching it.
Come on. Come on.
This is short. It's almost over. It is documented that the figure had pale, plastic-like skin on a narrow face with giant black eyes. Because I know you mentioned them earlier. Many of the children said that the entity's eyes were almost enchanting, and it was hard to look away from them. Some of the children claimed that they felt as if it wanted to take them, while others said that they received messages from the eyes,
like telepathically,
in their head.
I don't love that.
So the children that claimed that they received messages in their mind all received different visions, but they were all based on the same premise. It seemed as if the entities were trying to warn the human race about pollution and harming the earth with technology and just taking all the trees down.
So clearly it worked, is what you're saying.
100%. So one of the girls explained her vision as the following quote. It was like in the world, all the trees would just go down and there would be no air and people would be dying. She then added, I think that in space there is no love and down here there is, which is interesting to me. So I think the message that she received was like almost like a warning and saying like, you have so much love here, save it.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah, don't ruin it. I mean, if that's their message, I'm super happy to be building this platform that we are building to help share it. And I sincerely hope it's not too late. The children told their teachers and also many of their parents. Some of the kids were met with open arms and comfort. Others were told to never speak of it again and basically were called liars. The students were asked to individually interview, and their stories were all very similar. They were also asked to draw what the figures looked like, and many of the drawings were eerily similar.
Wow.
So in individual settings, these kids all came up with similar stories, similar drawings, the one that were able to.
That's
the
scary.
Ones that were able to. Yeah. The then students are now adults, and many of them hold that day in their minds.
I bet.
I know. Some of them with positive memories, and others were hit with, of course, more trauma. I personally think these people either truly witness what they described, or honestly, I think they might be some of the smartest environmentalists to ever live.
That's a good theory.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like that.
I know.
It's scary. So I have a question.
Yes.
Did the kids see these entities go back into their aircraft and take off, or they did?
Well, yeah, what I researched basically just says that, they returned to the aircraft. In my mind, they glitch back. They're just like, beep, and they're back.
Yeah.
And then it flew away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know, it's a lot. So for the next UFO encounter story, I am bringing it a little bit closer to home, similar to this microphone to my face. It was November 30th, 1989. A woman put her kids to bed, kissed her husband goodnight, and went to bed just like any other evening. So Linda Napolitano finally got comfortable when suddenly 3 beings appeared in her bedroom.
Don't love that.
She was shooketh. She was shooketh and terrified as the entities moved closer and into her view. She described them as humanoid and gray in color with large black eyes.
Ugh.
I know, it's weird. So before Linda could even make a noise, the aliens told her via telepathy to, quote, shut up.
Don't love that either.
End quote. Yeah, they were like, shut up, bitch.
Wait, not to interrupt you, but I am also interrupting you. Is this the one? This was in Manhattan.
Yeah.
They just did a Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They then wrapped her in a paralyzing blue light. She then felt herself move, and she realized she was levitating and was lifted out of her bed. Yeah. She was lifted again out of her bed through her 12th story window.
What?
And into a spaceship, which she claims was a reddish orange color.
So this is in Manhattan, where there's a lot of people. I mean, at all hours of the night.
Yes.
And she is lifted out of her bed, out of her window, and into the sky, into a spaceship.
A reddish orange spaceship.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. So that happened. On the street below, 2 bodyguards were protecting an unnamed diplomat. Now remember, this happened in New York, so it was in Manhattan, New York City. So it was normal for diplomats to be just wandering around, I guess.
Okay.
Where they all, possibly the diplomat included, happened to see a woman in a white nightgown floating through the sky and into a ship.
That seems a little convenient.
It
that
does.
They were there at that time. I mean, not trying to be cynical, but
no.
That seems very convenient.
It does.
Okay.
I will tell you that different sources say that they were they were closer to the, what is it, RFK highway, like on the top of it. And what they saw was a woman kind of floating what looked like close to the Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay. I would have shit in my pants if I saw that. Can you imagine sitting in your car and watching some bitch float into the fucking air in a nightgown?
No. I'm like, is this Peter Pan? Is that Wendy? What is happening?
Like, I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I'm just like imagining this.
Yeah. It's like a movie.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you almost wonder if people it didn't happen nowadays. I mean, this was in 1989, but nowadays people could probably use a projector.
Right.
To make it look like something like this was actually happening.
Right. But this was back in the day when that shit wasn't really people didn't have that kind of stuff in their home.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the men were not sure if they were given drugs, dreaming, or hallucinating.
All of the above is what I would think.
Yeah, all the above. No, legit, all the above. But after kind of doing that, did you just see what I see? Look to each other and asking each other what they had just seen. Both of the bodyguards, and some sources say the diplomat as well, realized that they all saw the same scene. So I'm going back to Linda here. So once she was aboard the ship, Linda, who was still paralyzed, ended up in what appeared to be an examination type of room.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate alien stories. Like, oh my, okay, continue.
Put your earmuffs on. It's fine. I'll finish. She remembers trying to scream, but the screams reverberated through the room and seemed to continue to increase in volume.
Ugh.
One of the beings put their hand over her mouth, while another put something small and metallic into her nostril and pulled a trigger.
What?
Yeah.
No.
She instantly blacked out, and after what seemed like mere seconds to her, woke up back in bed next to her snoring husband. Linda went about her day thinking about the strange dream she had until she realized that she actually had a lump in her nose on the side in which that metallic thing was inserted.
Ugh.
That sounds sus. She then immediately went to the doctor, who referred her to a specialist. And then the ENT confirmed via an x-ray that something had actually been inserted into her nose, because the lump she was feeling was a buildup of cartilage that had encased the item
Ew.
that was no longer there. So it's almost like something was inserted into her nose a long time ago and then taken out because the cartilage had built itself up around it. Like an earring.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like a keloid type thing, I guess.
Yeah. So author and ufologist or UFOologist, I'm not quite sure how to say it.
A ufologist. That's a profession.
I low-key
you imagine?
want that as a profession.
Can you imagine like just somebody like filling out paperwork in like profession?
Ufologist.
Like, holy shit.
I'm going to start writing that down.
Yeah. I'm going to put Bigfootologist.
I'm a Yetiologist, but write a bunch of R's after it, so they have to do that.
But we digress.
Again, per usual. So anywho, author and ufologist, or UFOologist again, Bud Hopkins, was already an acquaintance of Linda's. So she reached out to him and told him her story. He then worked with her to write a book on her experience. And the book is called Witnessed: The True Story of the Brooklyn Bridge Abduction. While researching this book, he allegedly spoke to over 20 eyewitnesses claiming to have seen a person floating in Manhattan that same night.
So 20 people saw this.
Over 20, realistically. I say 20, but over 20.
At least 20.
Yeah,
Saw it.
minimum. Unfortunately, none of these witnesses were actually named. Among the witnesses who provided Bud with testimony were the two bodyguards.
Okay.
Remember them?
Yeah, and the diplomat. Okay.
They wrote to Hopkins in hopes to figure out what they had seen.
Here's my question. This was before the days of the internet. Was this guy, this ufologist, this Bud guy, was he that well known that they were like, oh, we're going to reach out to him?
I want to say he was a professor at a local university in New York. So
Okay.
if they were trying to find someone who just had any kind of knowledge whatsoever, they could have just researched. I mean, back then, gosh, the yellow pages.
Yeah, it's just, it's again, kind of convenient that this woman reached out to the same exact people, or the same exact person that the diplomat's bodyguards reached out to.
So I can't imagine there being a lot of people that were super into aliens. So
Okay.
it might have been pretty easy to find him.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he was like that well known, but I guess he must have been if...
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just telling you the story.
I didn't make up the story, okay? I'm just relaying it.
I just researched it.
The fuck did you come here for?
I don't know. I can talk in New York the rest of the time if you want me to. Like I'm actually there. Fucking shit.
Sorry to anyone that listens to us from New York. I mean, there probably isn't.
Sorry, not sorry. This is how you sound, and I fucking love it.
I'm fucking sorry.
I'm from New York. I drive in a car. I eat cookies.
And you drink coffee.
You drink coffee and you go to the mall. Okay, that's what you do, and I fucking love you. And keep
and you
listening.
See fucking aliens.
Sometimes, but so do we. You know, fuck all. Take all the F's out. I'm sorry.
No, I'm leaving it. I'm fucking leaving it.
Fine. There goes our demographic above 50.
Oh, Jesus.
In their letter to Hopkins, the bodyguards recounted being parked near the Brooklyn Bridge and again seeing a woman floating from a building into a spaceship.
That's so weird.
I know. They claimed she was wearing a white nightgown. They wanted to preserve their identity and that of their diplomat client, so they called themselves Richard and Dan and claimed to be police officers, not bodyguards. Bud was excited for these witnesses and corresponded with the two, and once they were informed that the person they saw floating was actually alive and well and living in the city, they asked for her contact information, which Bud obliged. He's just handing out her address.
I don't like that.
Yeah. So upon reaching out to Linda, the, quote, police officers, end quote, met for coffee and created sort of a support system for each other. And they kind of bonded over the experience that they all had.
Okay.
I think they were trying to deal with their trauma.
Right.
You know, that they made up or had seen. Linda's life did not get easier from there. In 1991, she began noticing the same van in front of her house and also sometimes following her. She felt as if she was being watched all the time. And then shortly after that, she started recognizing a pattern, and then she was kidnapped and interrogated by two men who were stalking her.
I'm sorry. You just glazed casually over that. She was kidnapped?
She was kidnapped.
What in the actual fuck?
Yeah, I'm gonna get more into it. Don't worry.
Oh, wow.
I'm not just glazing. That's just the top. But wait, there's more. So she was kidnapped and interrogated by two men who were stalking her. She was asked to tell all of the details and given unhinged questions about her abduction.
No thanks.
Yeah. They apparently even asked to see her feet to make sure they were human.
Stop it
I won't.
now.
I won't. They were like, yo, girl, let me see them toes.
They wanted feet pics. That...
Yeah.
Okay.
Once her captors were satisfied, they let their identity know. Guess who it was? Richard and Dan.
What?
Her support system, Richard and Dan.
Okay.
Yeah. So the men released Linda, now believing her story even more. And for some reason, they all remained in contact afterwards. Linda was like, oh, it's cool that you guys kidnapped me and like looked at my feet. It's fine.
Okay.
She just accepted them. Yeah, I can't.
Again. Okay.
Yeah. So while Richard was satisfied with the fact that Linda was in fact a human, Dan had become obsessed and had an almost fascination with her. He listened to his intrusive thoughts and kidnapped her again. Yeah, I can't.
I'm sorry. They kidnapped her twice.
Well, this time I believe it was just Dan from my sources. I mean, some sources say it was both of them. Other sources say it was just Dan. I'm going with just Dan.
What in the actual fuck is this story?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger. This time, it's alleged that Dan took Linda north of Manhattan to a beach in Long Island.
What?
Yeah. While at that beach, he gifted her a white nightgown to put on.
What?
She refused. She was like, not today, sir. I'm not changing in front of you. This is getting weird, because it wasn't weird enough already, right?
I was gonna say, it's getting weird?
Yeah, and then she wouldn't put the nightgown on. So then he dropped to his knees and called her the Lady of the Sand on repeat. I don't fucking know. It's so weird. Yeah. So I'm just going to recap that little bit. Dan kidnapped her again, gave her a white nightgown to put on. She wouldn't put it on. So then he dropped down to his knees, basically like praising and worshiping her, calling her the Lady of the Sand.
Okay.
Your face right now is hysterical.
I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this bullshit.
I know. I see it happening in your mind. You're like, this is just so dumb.
Okay.
This podcast is getting no listens.
No, it should, because this is
it's a story.
It's entertaining,
yeah,
for sure.
So I mean, in my mind, I feel like he was almost trying to give her to the aliens again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he was
like
like
a sacrifice. Like, here you go. Here.
Put this white nightgown on, and I want to see if the aliens will take me too. Like, that's in my mind. I think that's what he was like doing.
I feel like that makes sense. Yeah.
Free trip to space, man. Let's go.
Yeah, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, why not? Or just kidding if aliens are listening. Or do. I don't know. It might be fun. Long story long, I digress. Again, ADD. Somebody get me Ritalin or Adderall. Linda was able to escape Dan. Some sources say that he actually like held her in the water for a little bit. And then like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to put crazy things out there that didn't happen. So I'm just going to say she was eventually able to escape after a tussle with Jan. They then had a long conversation and she was again released to go home.
If they're friends after this, I'm going to be really fucking pissed.
I don't know, bro. So many people believe that the whole story from the aliens to the kidnapping is all a hoax.
Same.
I know. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's tough to really decide since no one actually knows the names of the bodyguards or who anyone like that was an actual witness for Bud's book.
Correct. Yeah.
In 2012, though, Vanity Fair did an article on Linda where she was asked if she could have been hallucinating. And she is quoted saying, "If I was hallucinating, then the witnesses all saw my hallucination. And that sounds crazier than the whole abduction phenomenon." She was also quoted saying, "I wish I was psychotic. At least there is treatment for that." When she was told she was making everything up. And the only other thing that I'm going to put out there is she did have that buildup cartilage. And there are, I think, photos online of the x-ray of the buildup cartilage in her nose.
Interesting.
And her parents said she's never had surgery or anything on her nose. So who knows? I mean,
stranger things have happened, I guess.
Have they, though?
This is pretty strange. I'm not going to lie.
But wait, there's more.
Of course there is.
I mean, not a whole lot more, but so there have been 2 documentaries released on this case. The first one was in 2022 and it is called Linda Napolitano, the alien abduction case of the century.
Oh. It
can be found on YouTube and I will warn you, it is tough to get through it. The man's voice is very soothing.
So put you to sleep.
Yes. It sounds like he's like reading a relaxing story to you. And I was driving listening to it and I was like, I can't, not right now. So I listened to it at home later and, did my best.
Fell asleep.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all of it was pretty interesting. And in the end of it, they kind of go into kind of like an alien research and different things that have been found inside of people.
Ooh.
And something about the human soul. Like it's creepy.
Okay, I'll have to watch it.
But it's interesting. You don't even have to watch it. There's not really any video to it. Just listen to it. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and then another documentary was just released on October 30th on Netflix.
I did see that pop up like on my things you may be interested in or whatever.
You're like, no, thank you. It's aliens.
Like I said, alien stuff just really creeps me out.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I'm so intrigued.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard stories from people that have seen UFOs and seen what their faces look like as they're telling the story. And it's just like a look that can't be described. Like it's like a look of pure terror. Like,
yeah,
I feel like when you see a UFO, it just kind of like shakes you. Like I saw a UFO once and it like brought tears to my eyes because I could not explain what I was seeing and how it was moving. I mean, there's no way it could have been a satellite. Satellites do not move up and down, side to side in a circle and then collapse in on themselves. It was fucking weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and other people saw it too.
Yeah.
So seeing that stuff is very jarring.
Yeah. So I think I saw a UFO, but again, I'm borderline crazy, we'll say. I was like 10, and I was spending the night at my friend's house, and her room was on the second story, and there was like a street and then houses across the street. And I woke up, I was sleeping, like we were both in the same bed, and I was close to the window. And all of a sudden, like the house started shaking, It was like vibrating. And I remember hearing a loud noise, but she didn't wake up. It was weird. So I like looked out of the window and I looked up and I remember seeing like this big thing go across. And I don't know what shape it was. I don't know if it was a circle. I can honestly say, I don't know if it was a plane, but I've seen the bottom of planes and it looked nothing like that.
I don't feel like a plane would shake your house like that, though,
And
and light up the room.
And this was in Newark, so it wouldn't have been that close to the building as it was. Like, I feel like
Ew.
I could have like stuck a stick up and like touched it.
I don't love that.
No.
Oh my God, what if you were abducted and you don't even fucking remember it and they come back?
Maybe I'll do that reverse hallucination thing. I don't think I was abducted though, because I saw, I never know. Wouldn't they have abducted her too?
No. No, because there's a lot of stories of people who have been abducted, like while they're sleeping next to someone and the other person has no recollection of it.
That's like this one.
Yeah, like the woman in Manhattan. And I've heard from like stories that people who have alleged to have been abducted that the other people in the room kind of seem like they're in almost like a trance or they're like frozen. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if there are aliens out there, which I'm sure there are, there has to be other life forms out there. Like, there has to be. But if they're intelligent like us, who even knows what they're capable of? Like, who knows what kind of tools and things that they have? I mean,
I will tell you the 2022 documentary that I was telling you about. It basically says that the alien. I don't think I don't know if I like took this the right way because I was like half listening, half not. I feel like it said that the aliens want to utilize kind of our soul because it's like not take our souls.
Like kind of like energy?
Like we are vessels, right? And there's like 3 different things that are inside of us. Like it's our soul, which was given the name by humans.
Yeah.
Our mind. And the energy, and then and the energy, and the mind is connected to like energy and light, whereas the soul is connected to the mind and the light. I don't want to get that far into it because I didn't listen well enough to like sound educated on it. I sound like a freaking idiot right now.
Stuff like that, though, I feel like it's hard to comprehend and explain.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, like I'll watch stuff like that and then I'll be like, I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah. So even if you don't listen to that, like fast forward to the end.
Okay.
Because the story's over about Linda.
Yeah.
And then they go more into that detail, which to me was kind of, it was creepy, but it was super interesting, like the thought process.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember what abduction story it was, or what documentary, but I watched some type of documentary before, and they talked about how aliens were curious about us because we have a lot of things that they don't have, like a soul and the ability to love.
Right.
And in this documentary, they talked about how aliens, their culture doesn't have things like love. They don't have that. Like it's a human capability.
Yeah.
And they are curious about that and they want to test on that because, it's like, it's kind of like how we do tests on animals,
Yeah.
Like we're, animals they're very close to us DNA wise, but they're also very different. So, just like how we're doing testing on them, maybe they're doing testing on us.
I hate to go back to this 2022 thing, but they say in there too that we're basically cattle for them.
Oh yeah.
And they experience, like they experiment on us or they try to learn from us, but they don't understand the mental trauma that they cause because they don't have that.
And they're not capable of that. And also, I'll have to look and find out what documentary or TV show or whatever that I was watching, but they talked about how, when they talked about how different humans were from aliens, it was also the aspect of like humans make decisions based on emotions and aliens don't have that capability. They make decisions purely on survival.
Right.
And for, the development of their species, where humans we're emotion driven.
Right.
They said that is also interesting to their species because they don't understand how we make such really stupid decisions.
Yeah, we're idiots.
Based on emotions. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, even the Ariel school story that we did right before this, that's what that one girl, I think it was, or the one kid said that, remember that quote that gave you chills? It was like, they don't have love.
Yes. Yes.
Down here, there's so much love and they don't have that.
Right. I've heard that with multiple, I don't want to say ufologists, but people that study UFOs and alien culture and all that. And
so ufologists.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And I've studied like abduction stories and all that. That's a common theme, is that aliens they live very differently from us. They're very, species advanced oriented. They don't make decisions like we do.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's probably why our planet is in the state that it's in.
Right.
Because we make dumb fucking decisions based on emotions. And people feel emotions differently. They believe different things. So people are making decisions that, are not for the greater good of people because of emotions. Right. So not to get all preachy and stuff. But
I get it. It's some crazy stuff, and it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely live differently than we do. I'm sure.
Yeah. I know.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, we could learn a lot from them and they could learn a lot from us. Just stop fucking doing traumatic experiments on us. Jesus Christ. Just ask us questions. We'll fucking tell you.
Oh my God. Come on our podcast, would you? You can talk to us through telepathy and we'll just tell everybody what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah, no, seriously. You don't need to stick some shit up my nose. I'll fucking tell you.
Yeah. Come on.
And if I like your planet better, I'll even fucking go.
Yeah, man. Shit. I'll walk around and everybody can ask me questions. Yeah. I'll teach you how to high five and give hugs.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will. Now that we're going to be abducted later. So back to the Netflix documentary that was released again recently. It was released on October 30th. But apparently Linda is suing Netflix along with a colleague who was also in the show or the series for several claims, including covenant of good faith and fair dealing.
Huh?
I don't know. I thought you would know that.
No,
it says covenant of good faith and fair dealing. Their lawyer basically...
Maybe they're saying that it was more maybe they lied about the intentions of filming.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. And their lawyer basically stated that they would not have entered into a project where their names and story were taken into question and basically put in a negative light.
Oh, so I'm assuming what probably happened was that they thought that they were going to be in this alien abduction, documentary, and they were just going to be presented as very fact-based. This is what happened. And I'm sure, as Netflix and many other production companies do, they also, present an opposing side, because to be objective, you have to do that.
Right.
You can't take everything at face value.
No.
You can't. You have to look at things objectively. And I'm thinking that's probably what happened, and she got pissed off.
Yeah. Don't make decisions with emotions. Look at both sides.
Exactly.
Be more alien-esque.
Exactly.
Linda claims that Bud's ex-wife is essentially trying to tarnish his name and bury him even further into the ground since his death. Either way, whichever side you believe, that was the story of Linda Napolitano and how she made headlines flying through the Manhattan sky.
I will definitely have to watch some documentaries on that, because I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, there's so much that proves it's a hoax. I mean, even the letters that were written to Bud, I mean, they seemed very similar and so on and so forth.
That is the part that I am hung up on the most, is that she contacted Bud first, and then immediately after, these two random guys who saw it contacted him also. That seems very convenient.
Right. But he also had over 20 witnesses did he reach out to people or did people reach out to him? Like, how did that work? I couldn't find that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I keep going back to the thing in her nose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, maybe she broke her nose as a kid and doesn't remember it, or
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to believe.
I mean, could it have even been something congenital? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know either. God bless her. I mean,
Don't sue us.
I want to believe her.
That's her name, Linda, right?
Linda,
Don't
yeah.
sue us, Linda. We're just being objective.
And we're poor. You'll get nothing.
Facts.
I don't know.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
And I really don't know what to think. I really don't.
No. Same. Do you know about Barney and Betty Hill?
No. Barney and Betty Hill?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Oh, they're the OG, like OG alien abduction story.
Really?
Yeah. You want me to tell you a little bit about them real quick?
Yeah.
Done. I wrote a little bit down.
Okay.
I wrote a little bit down, so I'm going to tell you the stories. Okay, get ready. Buckle in, buttercups. Herbert Derberder.
I'm going to tell you about that.
I'm going to tell you about this Betty Hill and Barney Hill. Okay, you ready for this one?
Betty and Barney.
This one. Okay,
All right.
first.
Betty and Barney. It sounds interesting already.
I know, it sounds like a cartoon.
It does.
Only because of the name Barney. It makes me think of the Pebbles.
Simpsons. Oh!
What? Yes, the Simpsons.
Yeah, the one that burps all the time.
I was thinking like Barney Rubble, too.
Barney Rubble. Or...
Flintstones. I said the Pebbles. I said the Pebbles. That was their kid's name, though.
Or Barney the Purple Dinosaur. Did I say that weird? Dinosaur?
No.
That's how I say it, right?
Clean up. Everybody, everywhere. Do you know the song?
No, I was not a Barney fan.
Oh, that's lame. We cannot be friends any longer.
I apologize.
It's fine.
It's just something about adults in costumes like that creeps me the fuck out.
I get it.
And it originates from Chuck E. Cheese.
I love Chuck E. Cheese.
But do you remember the animatronic Chuck E. Cheese things that moved? And they were so fucking creepy looking.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I just...
Anywho, long story long, let's go back to Barney and Betty Hill.
All right.
Not the purple dinosaur, not the burping guy from The Simpsons, and not Barney Rubble. This is Barney Hill, not Hank Hill. Okay, I'm done. First of all, I want to tell you, I love this couple. So this was back in the 1960s.
Okay.
And they're an interracial couple. So she's white, he's black, which was like a big deal back then.
I think I have heard about this. Okay.
I'm sure you have, because
that rang a bell because I remember people like giving them shit for that when this came out.
Exactly. Yep. And that was, they were very involved in like civil rights.
Good.
Which was, I mean, as they should have been, but I just appreciate that their love.
I believe them already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, their love was strong enough that they didn't let everybody else around them determine what they could and couldn't do. Aww. You know, which I love.
That.
Anyhow, so I'll just start from the beginning. It was September 19th, 1961. I looked that up. They were heading home from their honeymoon. They went to Niagara Falls. They drove. They didn't have a lot of money. They did have a dog. I think it was a Dachshund. And they were on their way back to New Hampshire, right? On their trek home, they were essentially minding their own business, and Betty saw a bright-ass light in the sky. And she was like, Barney, pull the fuck over. I want to see this. It looks like a satellite. I've never seen one. Mm. And he was like, sure, whatevs. So I'm sure that's how they talk too.
Yeah.
And he stopped the car so she could get a closer look, as a good husband does. And they described what seemed like they described that it turned into almost a spotlight that kind of followed up to their car in the front of their car.
Okay.
So Barney grabbed his binoculars and looked up at I don't know why I'm doing the binocular thing on my eyes, like everybody can see me. But he grabbed his binoculars and looked up, and what he saw was described as like a silver pancake. Chili's does not serve pancakes, but I have to throw them in. So a silver pancake. I mean, shit, I'll go to IHOP too.
Chili's or IHOP, please sponsor us.
We love you. Long story long. Back to the silver pancake in the sky. Mm-hmm. And it had a window in the front, and he saw 8 to 11 humanoid beings in this front window of this silver pancake floating in the sky with a beam coming down from it.
No.
So as he's watching with his binoculars, almost all of them but one go out of view, and one is remaining, and that one spoke to Barney.
Telepathically?
How did you guess?
Because you sent it to me telepathically.
I did. You're welcome. We're on that level. And he basically said to him, like, keep watching. Like, keep looking at me. And then they black out. Mind you, the car was stopped, right? They had pulled over to look at this bright light. Mm-hmm. When they came to, they were 2 miles down the road driving and
What?
and they had lost 2 hours.
Oh my God. I just got the chills because do you remember that
Yes.
night? Okay. So I'm sorry, but I have to tell this story.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia and I we were out with a friend. We were doing a day/night adventure. We literally lost 2 hours and we have no idea where the fuck they went. It was 2 hours, right?
It was about 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, because we went back and looked through pictures to try to map out what the fuck happened, and we still cannot figure out what happened to those 2 hours.
I know. I was excited to like tell you that.
Yeah, that's
part.
Crazy.
Okay, yeah, so we were
continue.
not investigating, but we were exploring some tunnels. What was it, Pennsylvania?
Yes, it was the abandoned Pennsylvania, or no, I'm sorry, it was the abandoned New Jersey Turnpike. If you're in the area, go there. It is so fucking cool. Like it's an abandoned tunnel that's like, what, 2 or 3 miles long?
It's dark as hell in there, man.
Pure blackness.
Some of the graffiti on the walls, though, some of it is artistically amazing.
There's a lot of dicks.
There's a lot of penises. Dicks. I haven't said it yet. It was really hard for me in that last story with the name Richard to not say dick.
It's okay. It's your thing. Dicks are your thing.
They kind of are. My favorite thing in that, not that anybody cares, but I'm going to fucking tell you, was, and do you remember this part? I know I read it on the wall because I pointed it out and I said, oh my gosh, that's hysterical. And it said, while I have your attention, can I tell you about an extended warranty on your car or something like that?
That was the best one.
And then we kept walking and then we turned around to walk back through to get back to our car, and we could not find that because I wanted to take a picture of it. We walked the entire length of that tunnel.
We did, and we shined the light on that.
The entire side that entire time and never saw it again.
That whole day was super fucking weird.
It was weird.
Because we like got lost driving there, even though we had like the exact coordinates. We saw shit and then couldn't find it when we came back.
That motel. That broken down motel.
Yeah. I mean, we lost 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know. Sorry, we digress, but that had to do with the alien story because they lost 2 hours too. And let me tell you, it's fucking terrifying to lose hours and not know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Like, we literally went through our phones looking at pictures and timestamps. We still don't know what happened to those 2 hours.
Yeah, it was weird for sure. But it was a fun day.
It was very fun, even though we may have been abducted by aliens, but shit.
I mean, maybe we should have x-rays done of our heads and see if there's anything in them.
I don't even want to know.
I mean, I do.
I don't remember. I don't want to remember. Fuck it.
That's fair.
I don't want to know. Because if I do know, no.
Well, I mean, we could do what Betty and Barney did and do the reverse hypnosis.
Oh, they did do that? That's cool.
They did do that. What they say during it is pretty like terrifying.
Oh Jesus, see, that's why I wouldn't want to do it.
I'm not going to like go into any of that because I'm sure this episode's already long enough, but you guys can research it. It's a pretty interesting story. I will tell you the one other part of this tiny little tidbit of a story. The nearby Air Force actually detected and registered an unidentified air activity
that night
at like 2 a.m. or something like that. And that was about the time where Betty and Barney came to driving.
That's creepy.
Their car.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's registered that there was an identified thing in the area at that point in time.
So it was verified by the military, essentially.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
the kind of stuff I tend to believe.
Yeah, same. I mean, that's just a tiny little story. I probably should have done a deeper dive onto that one, but I figured with the Netflix thing, like people might want to hear more about Linda.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can always come back. This is kind of just like a random podcast about alien stories because we wanted to talk about aliens. But
I love
if
them.
you guys want us to deep dive into the Barney and Betty.
Yeah.
The Barney and Betty story. I mean, we can certainly do that. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll comment. I actually do want to know more, but I'm going to do that for myself. And then if people want to know, I'm on it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Word. I mean, that's pretty much all I got today. Just a bunch of alien stuff.
No, that was really cool. I enjoyed it. Even though aliens fucking terrify me, it was enjoyable, you know? It was, you know, a nice break from murder, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a nice little break.
Yeah.
Let's go from murder to being abducted and kidnapped and, you know, put in a white nightgown and 800 students at a school in Africa seeing aliens.
Yeah.
Totally normal. This is a great podcast.
For sure.
Why don't we have 1 million viewers? Listeners.
I don't know. Let's get those listeners up.
Share, like, and subscribe. We love you.
Yep, do all of the things. Thank you for listening. See you next Tuesday.
But don't be one.
Oh, Jesus, bye.
Just kidding.
Bye.